Hello everyone, welcome again to another segment of Doctors Go Live on Columbia Asia Facebook. It's very good to see all of you, even though I can't really literally see you, but I can imagine that you're all doing well, inshallah. Okay, we are with Miss En Zhe today, and she is a certified dietitian from Columbia Asia Hospital, Bukit Rimau. Hi, Miss En Zhe, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, my name is En Zhe, and I'm very glad that today I'm giving this opportunity to share about food labels today to everyone.
Okay, apparently I pronounced your name wrong. That's why I say En Zhe. But okay, so it's En Zhe, right?
Yeah.
I got
En
okay.
Zhe is actually okay lah. Never mind.
All right, okay. So the reason why we have En Zhe, the dietitian, on board today is because we're going to be talking about food labels, because food labels are not just there as a means of promotion. It's not just a marketing issue. It's actually, it's very informative, and it's got a lot of information that you should be aware of, because some of them may seem as misleading. For example, what does low sugar mean? Or sugar-free, what else? All natural, organic. So all these things, it can create some kind of confusion. So this is why we have Miss En Zhe today with us, so that she can explain to us why nutrition labels are very important. So let's start off with that. Why is it important for consumers to know about nutrition labels?
Okay, so actually nowadays, every packaging, every food, every product, we'll see that there's a food label printed on the product itself. So actually, it's a very important guideline for us when we go to grocery shopping, so that we can refer to the nutrition list to know that which product is the best, is the most suitable to us. Okay, but maybe nowadays a lot of people know that there's a food label, but maybe they're not really sure how to interpret it. So today we will talk about how can we correctly interpret the food labels so that we can make a better food choices when we go to shopping and before we buy any of our products.
Those are actually the stickers that are on processed foods, like the ones that are in bottles and jars and packets, all these or plastic tubs. So I understand that there's just a lot of this, especially now and during the MCO, people go out and buy. Not sure whether the panic buying is still going on, but of course, natural food is the best. But in reality, people still buy processed foods because they are convenient. Yeah. So because of this is why it's nutrition information is important. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's really important. So okay, out of all these, out of all the nutrition in the list, which is the one that we should be focusing on the most?
Okay, so let us we can show the first slide. Okay, so that every one of us can have a better look at the nutrition information. All right, so the first picture here is actually the typical food labels that we usually see on our products. Okay, every products. So a lot of people will confuse actually, there's so many nutrient lists over here. Okay, so which one should we focus on? Okay, so first of all, okay, there were two columns over here. There's one is the per serving, and another one is per 100 grams. All right, so when should we look at the per serving part is when we are eating that particular food. For example, the bag of chips. So today I'm eating this bag of chips. So I want to know how many calories does this bag of chips cost me. So we'll look at the per serving part. All right. So per 100 gram is for us when we need to do a comparison, because nowadays there's so many products out there, so many different brands. Okay. So how should we know that which brand is more suitable for us? And which one brings more nutrients for us? So we need to compare it based on the per 100 gram, because different products will have a different serving size. So when we compare using the serving size, it will be not that accurate. That's why we recommend everyone to compare using the per 100 grams column. All right, for example here, so the calorie per 100 grams here is around 1,400 for 41 kilojoule, which is around 350 kilocal. Okay, and then the second one actually we will focus on the fat, the sodium, and also the sugar, because like nowadays everyone is saying that we need to choose those like food low fat, low sugar, and then low sodium. And then for high fat is like high fiber, high minerals, and high vitamins. So now there's the question over here is like, everyone is telling me, okay, we need to eat low sugar, low fat. So how low is considered low and how high is considered high? Okay, so first we will look at the fat part first, okay, total fat. So actually to consider as a low fat, actually we need to look at the gram is generally is around 10 grams per 100 grams. Lah. So for example, when we look at the product, when we choose the product, whenever like biscuits or chips or any like processed food, we will look at the total fat first. Okay, so if the product, for example, here is 1.2 grams fat only per 100 grams, so this is considered a low fat product. Okay, so for the saturated fat, okay, so here is around 0.3 grams, which is also considered very less. So to choose a less saturated fat product, we need to choose those which is 3 grams per 100 grams and below.
I see.
Because, yeah, as you all know, because like saturated fat is not a good fat, so it will lead to a high blood cholesterol, and we should also increase the risk of us like getting a heart disease or what. So we need to limit the saturated fat intake as well. So these two is what we need to focus. Yeah. And then next we move on to the sugar. All right. Everyone knows that like, sugars will bring to high blood sugar levels, but so and also extra calories. So for sugar, we need to choose those like less than 15 grams per 100 gram. So for here, for this product, for example, so these products contains 11.8 grams per 100 grams of sugar. So it also considered as a low sugar content. So it's a low sugar product. Okay. All right. So next we move on to the sodium. Sodium, okay, for this product, this sodium contains 250 milligrams. So for sodium, we need to look at those like 120 milligrams per and below. So for these products, it actually contains a quite high sodium content. Okay, so for the high part, it's actually like we need to consume high fiber. So how can we know that how high is considered high fiber? So for this product, actually it contains 21 grams of fiber. It actually contains considered as a high fiber product because whatever product that contains 6 grams and above actually is considered as a high fiber product already. Yeah, so these are the few points. The first point is the fat, the second point is the sugar, the third point is the sodium, and then the fiber. These are the important points that we look at whenever we go to shopping and then whenever we choose like the products before we buy.
So that's fat and then sugar and salt. These are the 3 main components that everyone should check first before buying.
Yeah, the one that we need to
compare with the other products. Okay, all right. Out of these 3, which is the one that we should be most concerned with, depending on what we are looking for? For example, if someone wants to lose weight, so out of these 3, should she be looking more at fat or sugar? Or if somebody has high blood pressure, what should she be looking at the most?
Okay, so for example, the first one, okay, for those who wish to lose weight, of course, they need to compare the calories between the 2 products. Okay, but actually, we cannot focus on just one nutrient. We need to compare the other nutrient as well, because like excess fat and excess sugar will bring into excess calories as well. So for those who wish to lose weight, so we need to focus on the calories as well as the sugar and fat content. All right.
Yeah. So and how about those? Now, how about those who have high blood pressure? Obviously, they have to look at the salt content. Yeah.
So for high blood pressure, they will focus on sodium level first. Yeah. So for those, the calories will not that important for them. They will focus on the sodium level.
Okay. All right. Maybe we can go into ingredients now. The significance of ingredients in terms of the sequence, because I heard that whenever you have ingredients 1, 2, 3, the one that is listed as number 1 is the one that is a lot. This food product contains a lot of it. Maybe you can clarify that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually the ingredient list, so what you heard that is actually true. So all the ingredients list are actually, they are listed from for the decreasing order in terms of weight. So for example, the top 3 ingredients in the ingredients list are actually the main ingredients of the product. Okay, so usually, like for example, this is the ingredient list of a cereal product. Okay, so the first ingredients is actually the cereals. The second one is the psyllium husk, and the third one is actually sugar. Yeah, so the sugar is actually among the top 3 ingredients of these cereal products. So it actually considered as a high sugar product as well.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. So if sugar is in the top 3, that means it's a high sugar product.
Yeah. So whenever we choose any product, when we look at the ingredient list, if there's a oil or there's a salt or the sugar is within the first 3 ingredients, so we encourage to choose another product.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about misleading ingredients, because now that we know the amount actually matches the sequence of how it is listed in the packaging. But when you have terms like 100% pure or organic or all natural, how natural or how pure is the ingredient that is in the food? Is it true that it's 100% natural, say orange juice, for instance? And then when you look at the list of ingredients, but there's always like other things, it's the conditioner and coloring. So we're not really talking about 100% natural. What's your opinion on that?
Okay, so actually nowadays there's a lot of nutrition claims or health claims on the product as well. So should we trust the nutrition claim 100%? Okay, so actually we can always refer to the ingredient list. For example, just now Sakina said that about the pure orange juice, for example. So pure orange juice, so it actually means that the orange juice is actually fresh from orange, so they didn't add any preservative or any coloring or any flavoring. But when we look at the ingredient list, there's actually the flavor inside. So there's a preservative inside. Okay, so we need to be a very smart shopper. Okay, so be a smart shopper means that like we can always refer back ourselves to the ingredient list. Okay, and also I would like to pinpoint actually about like the alternate names of the sugar, because like a lot of people actually said that to me that like whenever we go to shopping, okay, for example, for those like high blood sugar level, for those who wish to control their blood sugar levels, so they would like to choose those products which is really sugar free. Alright. So but then there's a health claims that like they shows cane sugar free. Right? They just specific the one particular sugar, cane sugar free or sugar free. But when we look at the nutrition info, the sugar content is still high. So why is it? Why is it like that? Okay, it's because actually there's a lot of names for added sugar. So besides sugar, we also have cane sugar, we have brown sugar, we have all types of syrup, so we have honey as well. So all these are actually alternate names of sugar. So we need to be very smart. We need to look at all those like alternate names of sugar in the ingredient list to make sure that we buy the products is actually free of sugar.
I see. Okay. Is there any particular sugar that's healthier than, if it doesn't say sugar, but maybe if it says fructose or sucrose or cane sugar, does it make it any healthier or less healthier or what?
Actually, all the sugar are the same. So there's no such thing like that, like healthier sugar. Like for example, a lot of people has a misconception that like, brown sugar is actually healthier than normal sugar. Actually, it's the same. So they are the same in terms of calories, in terms of all the sugar level that brings in our body. Actually, it's the same.
What about the term low fat and reduced fat? Are those the same thing?
Actually, it's the same thing, but when they claim that it's a low fat, so you need to make sure that inside the nutrition info, there's less than 3 grams of fat inside the product. Then only they can claim that it's a low fat product or reduced fat.
Yes, because there are regulations I
Yeah.
suppose okay. I see.
Yeah, so all the companies, they need to follow the regulation. So in order to claim that there's a low fat, so they need to make sure the fat content inside the product is following the regulation.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about if it gets technical, like gluten free? Because this is different from saying something is sugar free or 100% natural. But then you have people who are allergic, maybe to gluten or lactose. Would this be misleading as well? Or do you think that this is something that consumers can trust whenever a product says that it's gluten free or what else? What did I say just now?
Okay.
Oil-free, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so actually for those gluten-free product, it's actually true. So we can't the company, they can't like simply claim that the product is not is gluten-free when it's not. So we can trust it. So for gluten-free, it's actually for those population who has specific like disease, for example, celiac disease, or those that have some absorption problem. Then only they will go for the gluten-free product. Yeah, but actually it's not like in terms of calories, in terms of nutrients, they're actually the same.
Salt, light in salt when you buy chips or crisps. When it says light in salt, but it still tastes like salt. Would you say that? Excuse me. Would you say that there would be a healthier factor to one product compared to the next one, just because it says it's salt free or low salt?
Okay, so for like two bags of chips, one is normal, is that they didn't list any like they didn't claim that it's low in salt or salt free, or another one is listed as low in salt. So of course, the better option will be the low in salt one. Okay,
Right.
because the salt content, if we look at the nutrition info or we look at the food label, and when we compare the sodium content, the one claim that there is a lower in salt of it will definitely lower salt content compared to the original.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
No, carry on. Sorry, you were saying?
So this is also an easier way for us to choose. So when we go to shopping, when we want to buy products, we can always, like, if you have no time to look at the nutrition info, so this is a faster way for us to choose. Right? We choose those with the health claims that like lower in salt, lower in sugar, sugar free. Yeah, this is the better option.
I see. Also, a note to viewers out there, if you have any questions, you can actually type the questions in the comment section below, and we will get Miss En Zhe to answer your questions. Okay, now we have a question from Miss Eliane Hussein. She is asking, when you talk about sugar, can you elaborate more on sugar versus stevia? That's a good question, Eliane.
Alright, so this is also a lot of people's like main concern now, because nowadays stevia is getting more and more popular. Okay, so the main differences is actually stevia is not a sugar, it's a sweetener. All right, so actually it will not increase our blood sugar level. So it's actually a good replacement or good option for those, especially having diabetes or wish to control their blood sugar level.
Okay. Does it have a... Sorry, say again?
It's actually a better option than sugar for those who are having diabetes or those like who wish to control their blood sugar.
I see. What about for those who are watching their weight? Would stevia be an alternative to sugar?
So for those who are watching their weight, stevia is actually lower in calories compared to sugar. But we will not like recommend the large amount of usage also for stevia. So we need to monitor the usage. So it doesn't mean that because stevia will not increase my blood sugar, because stevia is lower in calories, so I can take it a lot. No. So we need to monitor the portion as well, the intake as well.
Okay. If we talk about salt, now in the market there are so many kinds of salt. For example, there's Himalayan pink salt and rock salt and sea salt and whatever. So is there or iodine salt, which I hear is healthy? What's your take on that? Like, what's a healthy salt and what kind of salt should you be avoiding?
Okay, so if we want to compare like the sodium content, okay, so we will actually recommend you to use the rock salt, the sea salt, compared to the normal Himalayan salt. It's because that the sea salt is actually has a higher mineral content, so
I
it
see.
brings the higher nutrient content for us. But it's the same like the sugar and the stevia. So it doesn't mean that like sea salt is better, it's higher in mineral content that I can take a lot. No. So we need to monitor the portion, the intake as well.
Okay. There are also what do you call it? Artificial or dried ingredients. For example, if there's chili powder or artificial onion powder, and what else? Beef stock. Yeah. So do these contain MSG? Actually, I think my question is more about MSG. Sorry, quite. I think because it's nearly 4 o'clock. Is it, when it's quarter time and it's nearly 4 o'clock, my mind goes away. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I was asking about I lost my train of thought again. I was asking about sorry.
All those like
Yes, correct. MSG. Okay. About MSG, because I think MSG is on a lot of products, savory products, a lot of products. It's very difficult to get a processed food packaging that does not say MSG.
Yes.
So is this like a rumor, or is this, is it true that MSG is not good for health?
Of course, MSG is not good for health, and we can't avoid that. Actually, most of the processed food, alright, almost like 90% of the processed food, they contains all the artificial flavoring and also all those MSG. So that's why we actually recommend like for between fresh food and the processed food. Okay, for example, the beef stock and the fresh beef, fresh chicken, and the chicken stock. So we will prefer to choose fresh food, of course, because like in terms of processed food, besides all those MSG, so it also actually because inside the in the processing, so they will add a lot of sodium, a lot of like salt, sugar inside the processed food. So overall, of course, like fresh food is much more healthier than processed food.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's say if someone doesn't have a choice, that they really have to have processed foods, whether they're in their homes or because they need to go camping. I mean, not during MCO, of course, but after MCO. And then they would have to bring canned foods, bottled foods. Without naming brands, can you suggest what are healthy options, processed foods, but healthier options than most? For example, maybe sardines, because when people say sardines are high in omega-3 or whatever, I'm not really sure. I'm just guessing. Okay, so but people rarely go to the pasar and buy fresh sardines. When you say sardine, it's usually in their minds, it's usually the canned type lah with the tomato sauce and whatnot. Okay?
Yeah.
So can you suggest some products that are processed, but still compared to other processed foods, they are somewhat chosen over the rest? You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I think that actually it's like there's some tips for us how to make the processed food healthier.
Okay. Yes. Let's listen to it.
There's some tips. Okay. So for example, actually there's a lot of canned foods. Okay. So we have tuna, we have sardine, we even have the vegetables like green peas in tin form, in a canned form. Okay. So what we can do is like, for example, for canned vegetables or candies, so we can always drain the water before we eat it. Okay, so that because most of the sodium content, okay, is inside the water. So we drain it before we eat it or before we cook it, so we can actually remove a lot of excess sodium.
Yes.
So this is one of the tips. Okay. Actually, we can also, for example, nowadays tuna. Okay, canned tuna is the most famous food among us. Okay, it's so nice, so easy for us to just spread on the bread. Okay, but there's so many like different types of tuna. For example, we have tuna in water, we have tuna in mayonnaise, we even have tuna in olive oil, in chilies. Okay, all types. Okay, so we will need to choose, like for example, a much more healthier one, which is lesser fat. For example, what we touched about just now. So lower in fat, lower in sugar. So those in water is the best. Like tuna in water or vegetables in water is the best compared to those like inside the oil, of course.
Yeah. What about peas in water, or what else? There's quite a lot of vegetables that are packed in water. Vegetables and fruits, like for example, corn.
Yeah, corn also.
Corn, and then mushrooms. So I'm not sure the water inside, if it's flavored because of the mushrooms or it's actually just, treated water. So is that something that you should get rid of first before you cook?
Yeah. So whatever it is, like whether it's a corn, a green peas, or mushroom. So we'll encourage to drain the water first before we cook it. Okay. So because all the not only sodium. Okay. So because the water is actually contains a lot of preservatives as well, so that the canned food will remain fresh for a long time. So when we drain it, so we will remove all the excess sodium, the preservative that we don't want.
Okay, all right. In your personal opinion, what are the types of processed foods that you definitely will stay away from? I mean, because you have the knowledge that these are what foods are okay and not so okay, but okay. In your personally, what is it that you really, really will not take off the shelves ever?
All right. So for those canned vegetables, I'm still okay with it because we can still drain it before we cook. But for those like I personally will not prefer is like those processed meat like ham, sausage. Yeah, because the protein content of all those is actually much more lower, and then also like it's really high in sodium, in sugar, in salt. So for me, I will not touch those processed meat, but those like canned foods, I'm still okay because we can choose what types of canned foods we want to buy. But for those like sausage, ham, we don't have much choices.
Okay, what about instant noodles?
Okay, instant noodles. Okay. So it's really nice. Okay, especially those Korean flavors.
Once in a while, yeah.
Yeah. So same actually it's the same concept. Okay, so if there's no any noodles, no any food at home, you need to eat instant noodles. So the first step is of course the same, is we drain the noodles first. And then we cook it, we drain it, and then we only mix with the the powder, and then we can always like add in our own fiber, like for example we add in vegetables, we add in some protein, for example like eggs, to make it more nutrient balanced.
Okay. Well, those are very good tips, because you're saying that how we can make processed foods healthier by adding on our own nutrition, right?
Yeah, adding our own.
Okay, all right. Well, we've come to the end of the program, but if you have any questions that you would like to ask Miss En Zhe, you can always type in the comment section still, since we're still talking. But if you have afterthoughts, then you can always leave the questions still, and then En Zhe will address the questions after the program. Okay, is there anything else that you would like to add, Miss En Zhe?
I think this is the most important part about food labels. All right. Okay. So my last advice is like, let's be a smart shopper, okay, a smart consumer. So try to look at the food labels every time before we buy anything, so that we can choose the better option which brings the most benefit to us.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to think whether there's anything that we have missed out, that we have not mentioned on this program. I know we talked about instant noodles, we talked about canned foods, we talked about canned meat also. We also talked about chips, crisps, and all that. Okay, I think that's about it. Those are the main ones. Those are the ones that we practically can find in every house. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the most popular food that we usually buy.
Yes. Correct. Oh yeah, what about gassy drinks?
Oh,
or just drinks? not juices or milk, which we have already addressed just now, but drinks that come across as like sports drink, for example. People always think that, oh, there's no sugar or it's healthy. But yeah, what's your thought on that? Sorry, last question.
Okay, so gassy drinks, all right. So there's also nowadays like there's a lot of like for example zero Coke. Okay, those like the claims that they have zero calories or no sugar added. Okay, so of course compared to like zero Coke to those normal Coke, of course those like claim that no sugar added is more healthy, is healthier. Okay, but what we need to aware of those gassy drinks is actually the sugar content. Okay, and also those like claim that the sports drink. Okay, because no, all the gassy drinks, of course, the sugar content is very high. So when we, because all of us know that like we only actually recommended sugar amount per day is actually around 30 grams per day, which is only around 6 teaspoons. Okay.
Okay.
So when we buy the gassy drinks, okay, so we try to choose those with the lowest sugar content, of course. Okay, but it's still like not a really healthy option.
I see.
So once okay. And also, you reminded me about the sports. You know those like energy bar. All right. So a lot of people nowadays like, oh, energy bar is very healthy. So especially like after we go to the gym, you buy some energy bar. So we also need to aware of the sugar content because all the energy bar actually is very high in sugar as well.
Yes.
So at the same time when they give us a lot of energy, so it also gives us a lot of sugar. So we need to be more concerned on that.
Yeah, I guess that becomes a problem if you eat it and then you don't work out lah.
Yeah.
If you do go for a marathon or after that you burn it off, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a very good question here. Mr. Tashrif Tajuddin, thank you for reminding me that we need to ask about the difference between expiry dates and best before dates.
Oh, okay. All right. So actually a lot of products. So some they will state like there's an expiry date, or some they will state that there's a best before. Okay, so actually it's more or less the same, but the only differences is like the expiry date is actually focus more on the quality. So if the products actually if they state that the expiry date is like 15 May, for example, so it means that the 15 May is the last day for us to consume the product. After that, we need to throw it away because they might have some safety issue after the expiry date.
Okay.
However, for the best before date, okay, it's actually more on quality, which means that even after the best before date, actually it's still safe to consume, but it might have some changes of the taste, of the flavoring, the order of the So the only differences between both of them is like one is focused on the safety issue, which is the expiry date, and the best before date is actually focused on the quality.
Quality, I see. What about use by date? Is that the same as best before?
Yeah, use by is actually same as the best before. So if the packaging is still not open yet, before the best before date or after the best before date, actually it's still safe to consume.
Okay. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Tashrif. Thank you for asking that question. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. En Zhe. I think that's all the time that we have for today. Again, viewers, any questions, just type away and then we'll get Ms. En Zhe to address your questions after this. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon, Ms. En Zhe from Columbia Asia Hospital Bukit Rimau, dietitian. Okay, bye.
Bye.